Welcome to Trinity Radio. I'm Braxton Hunter, and you found the channel that loves atheists. Netflix recently released a docuseries on Hunter Moore and his revenge porn site. Is anyone up? Revenge porn, according to Wikipedia, is, quote, the distribution of sexually explicit images or videos of individuals without their consent. And this seems to be the working definition used by Danielle Keats-Citron of the University of Maryland, Francis King Carey School of Law, and Marianne Franks at the University of Miami School of Law in their article Criminalizing Revenge Porn, in which they say, quote, violations of sexual privacy, notably the non-consensual publication of sexually graphic images in violation of someone's trust, deserve criminal punishment, end quote. The world Hunter Moore created was one in which anyone could upload revenge porn, and most of the time, their Facebook account would be linked along with other personal details. Hunter and his troll army, who, by the way, refer to themselves as, quote unquote, the family, and said things like, I don't believe in God, I believe in Hunter Moore, would then mock every aspect of the victim's physical appearance. While many of the images were non-consensual posts of images by the victim's significant other, many of the victims never gave their images to anybody. Their emails were hacked and the images stolen. The goal of these people is to ruin the lives of others. When you demonstrate the dirtbag that you are and upload an image, a message will appear that says, thanks for being evil. Now, I'm about to spoil the story for you, and I don't feel the least bit bad about that. Spoiling something in this context is what you do to entertainment pieces. And the only entertaining thing about this entire debacle is watching justice, and not nearly enough of it, be poured out on one of the most vile characters in pop culture by none less than a relentless mama bear and a Marine with a bad attitude. And as a side note, please, God, give us more relentless mama bears and more Marines like this one. And if not a Marine, just people like this Marine who are proactive and live to overcome evil and offer help to the abused. What Hunter Moore did with his website was many horrifying things, but notable among them is that he created a new in-group. A disenfranchised, deeply disturbed, self-destructive army of internet trolls. And honestly, troll is far too acceptable a term to use for this. The army called the family, who referred to Hunter Moore as father, found a twisted acceptance among others who love to expose the intimate details of another's body and then chastise, make fun of, bully, and mock those same people. No longer would they be shamed by those who find that sort of dark, hateful behavior to be what it actually is. Horribly dark and hateful behavior that no one who has ever heard of a moral compass would ever engage in. They were shamed in the eyes of the world, and so they sought honor in this new and uniquely wicked gutter, and honorable in the eye, and they're also honored in the eyes of this twisted king of their organization or their movement, Hunter Moore. So what makes for an in-group like this? Well, honor shame cultures have existed in various nations throughout history, and they have implication for those in one in-group or other. With the ancient Mediterranean world in view, Bruce Molina and Jerome Nere explain, quote, honor is the positive value of a person in the eyes of his or her social group. In this perspective, honor is a claim to positive worth, along with the social acknowledgement of that worth by others. Honor, they say, is linked with face or saving face and respect. So in-group, let's say in-group A and in-group B. In in-group A and what we might call in-group B, let's say they exist in the same region. What in-group A finds honorable, perhaps certain behaviors, dietary commonalities, or ways of interacting with others, might be completely shameful according to the way in-group B functions. Molina and Nere explain. Consequently, what might be deviant and shameful for one group in one locality may be worthy and honorable for another. Certain practices of the Jews, for example, in the first century were shameful in the eyes of the Greeks. Practices of the Greeks sometimes seemed shameful to the Jews. What Hunter Moore did was to create a new in-group for those who wish to mock, bully, lust, and hate openly and with honor and without shame. His fans may have been shamed in the eyes of normal people with a functioning awareness of right and wrong, but in the eyes of each other, and not least of all, Hunter Moore himself, they would have honor. He often had to encourage them onward in this mission of evil. It's actually pretty hard to find something so obviously insidious that almost everyone who isn't directly involved, whether Democrat or Republican, Christian or whatever else, agrees that, yes, this is in fact wicked and needs to be stopped. That's how disgusting and vile Hunter's actions and this movement are. But what if we had the exact opposite of Hunter Moore? What if we had someone who also came into the world of in-groups and out-groups? What if we had someone who also created a new in-group that was shamed in the eyes of everyone else. But what if instead of building this movement on hate, lust, and the desire to ruin lives, instead it were built on love, sacrifice, and the desire to save rather than ruin people's lives? We have someone like that. Hunter was the king of reckless debauchery. Jesus is the king of commitment and love. Hunter admittedly wanted to foster evil. Jesus wants to foster good. Hunter broke victims down. Jesus lifted people up. Hunter is full of baseless pride and arrogance. Jesus humbly laid down his life for others. But if you think Hunter Moore's ideas were met with controversy, they were. So were Jesus' ideas. The early Christians had a new in-group, but they were now viewed with shame in the eyes of the Jews and the Greeks. Does this show up in the Bible? Yes. Paul writes to his brothers and sisters in this new in-group to encourage them with the words, "I am not ashamed of the gospel." The deal is, while everyone else looked on them with shame, they had honor in the eyes of their king. He thought that should be enough for them. An in-group of love or an in-group of hate? If my options are to find honor before Jesus or honor in the eyes of someone like Hunter Moore or anyone else for that matter, the answer is simple. I'm with Jesus.